Hi friends, Teacher Kim's gonna read The Fabulous Firework Family by James Flora. You see the people? Those are the characters of the stories. La hija, el hijo, la madre, el padre. The daughter, the son, the mom, and the dad. Do you know how Mexican people like to celebrate birthdays? Especially the birthdays of their patron saints? Bam! Zoe! Boom! With fireworks, that's how. Every church in every town and village has its patron saint, and all year long the people of the church save and save for the saint's birthday. A few weeks before the day, they take all the money to the best firework maker in the village, the firework maestro, and order a big Zam Blam Zoe firework fiesta. This story is about a firework maestro and his whole family. It is about the biggest and best boom, bam, pow firework fiesta ever met. Papito and his sister Amelia lived in the village of Santiago with their mother and father. They were called the Fabulous Firework Family because they made the finest fireworks in the whole village and, some said, the finest in all Mexico. One day, the mayor and the doctor and the saddle maker, dressed in their Sunday best, climbed the hill to visit the firework family. The sun is the sol, el volcán, la icosia, and la casa. The cloud is called la nube. Papa and Mama waited for them on the patio. So did Papito, Amelia, Mimi, the burro, Nino the dog, and Boca Grande the parrot. A very good day to you, maestro, and to your family, said the mayor, and the doctor, and the saddle maker. They raised their sombreros and bowed low, because the maestro was a true artist that must be respected. We have come to beg you to do us the honor of constructing the very tallest, the very widest, and the very finest firework, Castillo, ever built by mortal man. It must make more noise than thunder, more smoke than a volcano, and must throw off more sparks than there are stars in the heavens. It will celebrate the birthday of Santiago, our beloved patron saint. The maestro was very pleased and shook the hand of each visitor. It shall be done, he said. You shall have the most magnificent firework Castillo that mind and I can conceive. I promise it. The very next day, bright and early, Papa and Papito set out to fetch the firework powder. They bought black powder and red powder, silver and blue and green and gold powder. They bought powder that makes clouds of smoke and powder that makes no smoke at all. They bought powder that explodes in sparks and stars and powder that just fizzes and fizzes. It took 3 trips to carry it all home. The next day, Papa said, Papito, you must go to the valley and cut as much bamboo as Mimi can carry. Then stop in town and buy the paint. Don't forget to bring lots of red. All that day and all of the next, Papito cut bamboo with his machete, tied it in neat bundles, and loaded it on Mimi. Each time they passed through town, Boca Grande, in Spanish this means big mouth, screeched, Don't forget the rat! Don't forget the rat! Then, for weeks and weeks, the whole family worked together. Papa split the bamboo into strips and tied them together to make firework for each firework figure. He had wonderful pigs, ghosts, skeletons, giants, turtles, clowns, tigers, and witches. For the very top of the Castillo, he fashioned a beautiful big figure of Santiago in armor riding his horse. Boccagrante helped with the string. Mama stretched colored paper over the frameworks and fastened them on with glue. When the glue was dry, she passed the fireworks to Papito, who painted big eyes, mouths, noses, and teeth. He glued on pieces of frayed rope for tails and eyebrows and mustaches. He painted big crazy polka dots, stripes, blips, and blobs and passed on bangles. The figures made everyone laugh and giggle. Amelia was at the end of the table where she cut and pasted color papers. She made fringes, bow ties, collars, pants, skirts, flags, and pretty dresses for the girl figures. Soon it was time for the dangerous work. Amelia rolled cardboard tubes and Papito filled them with gunpowder or spark powder or colored fire powder. Then he tied the tubes to sky rockets, pinwheels, whirlybirds, and fizzers for the big Castillo. Mama made the fuses, yards and yards of fuses. She rolled long strips of paper around gunpowder. No one in all Mexico could roll a finer fuse than Mama. Meanwhile, Papa was outside whacking, splitting, and tying more bamboo. He was putting together the giant framework that would hold all of the figures they had made. Finally, the day of the fiesta arrived and the Castillo was ready. Pilgrims came from all over Mexico to the great celebration. Papa hired many cargadores to carry the pieces of the Castillo to the church. The mayor sent a brass band. When the cargadores were ready, the band began to play, and everyone began to march. Mimi marched too. She had red ribbons in her mane and carried the figure of Santiago on her back. Papito, Amelia, and Nino the dog were so excited they jiggled and skipped and barked all the way down to the churchyard. Boccagrante was even more excited. He flew around and around the musician until he flew "Krong!" right into the mouth of the big brass tuba, and the parade had to stop and fish him out. When the cargadores had brought their loads to the churchyard, Papa said to Papito and Amelia, "You have worked very hard and deserve some fun. Here are some pesos. Go enjoy yourself while I put the Castillo together." Amelia and Papito did have fun. They watched a lot of men and boys try to climb a greased pole. A chicken tied to the top was the prize. They saw a bear dancing on a big ball, a fire eater spitting out flames, a puppet show, a pig on stilts, a red-nosed clown with baggy pants, and a monkey playing drums. They rode the merry-go-round 3 times and ate tacos until they were full to the chin. Amelia bought a rag doll and named it Rosita after her best friend. Papito bought a jumping jack, and then the money was gone. It was time to help Papa with the Castillo. They hurried to the churchyard. The maestro was busier than a grasshopper on a hot sidewalk. The Castillo had been assembled on a tall pole and was now being pulled and pushed upright. It was almost in place when suddenly, "My money! He's gone! Help! Police!" Vincent, the water carrier, was dancing about, shouting with rage. Everyone stopped to look. The Castillo tottered and swayed while the men reached for the pockets. Pancho, the brickmaker, roared, "My pesos! They have gone too!" The police officer came running with their rifles ready. We have been robbed, howled Vincent and Pancho. Some name of a name has picked our pockets. Quiet, amigos, said one police officer. The law will provide justice for all. Hernando the pickpocket must be visiting our fiesta. Come, we'll search him out. Off they went through the crowd, looking right and left, up and down for the light finger wand. When the sun began to sink behind the mountains, it was time to fire the Castillo. Amigos, amigos, the maestro cried. The crowd grew quiet. My son, Papito, has worked very hard to help me build this Castillo for you. I wish for him the honor of lighting the fuse so we can begin the fiesta. See, 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 they called. Fire away, Chico! Papito struck a match and was about to light the fuse when a raggedy man burst from the crowd and ran toward him. Pancho the brickmaker followed, hollowing, Stop! Thief! Catch him! It's Hernando the pickpocket! Papito was knocked flat as Hernando rushed by, but Nino the dog grabbed the thief by the pant leg and wouldn't let go. Nino tugged and tumbled. Hernando kicked and yanked, but the brave little dog held on tight. Hernando stumbled and bumped into the dancing bear. The bear fell on the fire eater, who coughed up a big sheet of flame, which singed the curly tail of the pig on stilts, who fell kapong onto the lemonade stand. Psh! A huge jar of lemonade shot into the air, psh, somersaulted and plopped onto Hernando's head. Hernando would have drowned in the lemonade if one of the police hadn't caught him and saved Hernando for jail. Nino raced back to the churchyard. In his teeth was shred of Hernando's pants that had torn off. Nino stood on his hind legs and gave it to Papito. The crowd howled with laughter. Papito hoisted Nino onto his shoulder, and together they finally lit the fuse. Before you could blink, a wild bucking bull was trying to throw his rider. An eagle bit a snake and shook it. The snake wiggled wildly, and the eagle flapped its wings. Bang! Bang! A clown did flip-flops on his trapeze. A little girl skipped rope so fast her legs were blur. An ugly ogre tried to eat a kingfish, but every time the ogre opened his mouth to bite the kingfish opened his mouth to bite the ogre. People loved that. They whistled and cheered. Yay! They wanted the kingfish to win. Kablam! In a flash of dark green smoke and flame, the ogre exploded. Boom! The Castillo was flashing and frolicking. Figures were dancing, jumping, whirling, and diving. Great clouds of smoke drifted up. Orange, blue, and green rockets exploded with loud bangs. Big balls and baskets whirled and blew up. Boom! Throwing candy, cookies, and small gifts into the crowd. Children raced to gather up the goodies. People laughed and shouted with joy. They were happy to be alive and celebrating the birthday of their beloved Santiago. With a cracker and roar, hundreds of pinwheels, whirlybirds, and fizzers burst into brilliant display. Above it all sat the handsome figure of Santiago on his heroic horse. Around and around he turned, waving his sword while rocket after rocket shot into the air. No one could think of a color that wasn't before their eyes. No one could imagine a noise that wasn't already filling their ears. The maestro had thought of everything. It was surely the finest firework Castillo ever built by mortal man. The good Saint Santiago had never had such a beautiful fiesta. Surely he would make sure that the village would prosper in the coming year. Now when Firework family goes through the village, Papito and his father rest their sombreros and bow to everyone. Mama and Amelia smile happily. Buenos dias, el maestro chico, the people say to Papito. Good day to you, little maestro. Best of all, Papito and Amelia are happy they belong to the fabulous Firework family. The end.